Hello, hello, I'm doing a mic test. Okay, yeah. Alright. Okay. I'm looking ahead at some things here. I think this one's gonna be another, like, lengthy patch. Lore. Yeah, I'm probably thinking about splitting this in two. It's gonna be a long ass story, is what I'm saying. This patch will be sort of the end of what I would call more Heavenswardy stuff. So we are like reaching the end, pretty much. We will only have 2 more patches after this, so I'll be like, how many more? If I have to keep splitting them up into 2, I'll be, well, 4 more after we do these 2. And my cat is... Do you want to be in the lap? What do you want to do? Kitty, kitty. I'm simply giving people some time. I like just finished eating right before starting this. I also hope my... I usually put my stream up on my phone or my computer. My phone's not doing too well. That's because it's on Wi-Fi. I've been noticing some general weirdness between me and YouTube lately. Oh, I know. What if I mess with some settings? Where am I? You ever go on your phone and you just get lost on your phone? What about this? I don't know how much better that will end up being, but at least I can see the chat. So I'll probably start at 6:10, give 10 minutes for people to filter in, and then we'll go. I'm no longer feeling ill anymore. I think the parasite is fully left. Typically, I've been doing fairly well if I ever get infected with anything. Though, I certainly don't recommend, anything. I don't even like getting the flu, even though the flu doesn't really bother me much. Getting sick just sucks in general. I also like I don't like feeling feverish. It feels awful. I know most people probably don't. I don't know. I'm like, it feels like a bigger deal to me than what it is, honestly. I also don't like throw up, but I guess I just don't do well with bodily fluids. And I know there's probably plenty of people out there in the world that are like that, but I don't even like spit all that much. Or more like, I'm fine with my own. But if I see people spitting on the ground or something like that, that is disgusting. I can't stand it. Again, in hindsight, just not a very big deal, but no, can't do it. I often can't handle like ER type shows or The Pit. Because even though I know it's all fake and it's not real, if there's like blood, spit, puke, or anything like that, I don't think they showcase it all that much. It's not like, you know, ooh, let's just show you all the gory details. Especially not on The Pit, but I love The Pit. I think The Pit's like a wonderful show. I just, I don't do well with it. Has to be like cartoony things. Because then it's like very obviously fake, you know? It's not real. I think the last time I had like a serious problem with it, like to the point where I felt like I was gonna pass out, it was I was at a Ren fair actually one day, and of course, you know, it's a bajillion degrees out. Man, they're right now reporting, you know, up to 110 degrees in my area. But where I was, that I think it was just 2 summers ago, a man like passed out in line at the Ren fair from the heat. I think he was probably also drinking alcohol. But there was like a bit of blood left behind for where he had hit his head, and I was sitting there like, I'm going to pass out next. So I had to like pretend very hard that wasn't there. Hello, welcome to the chat. I'm just chatting about how I don't do well with body fluids. But that was the only time where I felt like I could possibly, like, if I thought too hard about it or focused on it too hard, like, I was probably not going to be okay. But let it be known that I was also standing out in the heat as well, so I feel like most people would just be absolutely not okay. So yeah, I was gonna wait just a tiny bit just to see if everybody had seen my link. I posted in a few places, and I love you all, my adoring fans. I also like to see who gets the purple crown. I don't even know why they even hand out the little purple crown on the chat thing. I guess to me, it feels like the mentor crown in this game. I like that these two guys are just still standing out here. They're like, Warrior of Light, do you have time to do... No. Just, she runs past them. They're like, okay. Maybe next time, Jerry. Like... I don't even know how, like, again, it's, you know, the BK crown, like, I mean, you would think that it's just the amount of times you post, you know, in a chat, but I'm not sure. One of these days I'd like to go on YouTube and try to figure out how to find people's streams where there's only like 1-2 people watching. And I just want to go in there and just start chatting with whoever. And then I will be the one with the purple crown. But I actually was watching a live stream yesterday, and they were having a nice chat about peanut butter and jelly, and I'm like, I really do have to weigh in on my peanut butter and blackberry jam opinions, but I was on the treadmill, so it was kind of hard to type. I listen to a lot of things while I'm on the treadmill. Alright, so I said I'll wait until 6:10. Oh, well, it's not quite. I have a clock in my room that says it's 6:10 right now, but then I look at local time on screen and it still says 6:09. I wonder how many seconds apart it is. Do I have to, like... Oh, it's probably like 30 seconds off, maybe? Okay, so, where we left off? At 3.2. A lot of stuff happened. Amric tried to invite us out on a nice drink date. Warrior of Light had PTSD over that because Amric forgot Warrior of Light constantly has problems with alcohol. Because right after that, we get roofied. Like, I believe Amric asks us out. He's like, we should all celebrate with a drink. And then Warrior of Light just, like, blue screens in front of him. And Amric, like, loses his smile. And he's like, oh, God. Then we get roofied. But that's after we find out about the whole... Minfilia has ascended to some kind of being beyond immortal. A lot of things happen. And, you know, Thancred's not taking that very well. And then we come back, and then we get roofied, of course. And then we have to do the Grand Melee. And Amric is having a hard time if he's more disappointed that he didn't get to fight Warrior of Light, which wouldn't make any sense because Warrior of Light's on Ishgard's side. Or if he's disappointed because he didn't get to fight Raubon instead. Like, I think Amric's like, oh god, do I want to be with Warrior of Light or do I want to be Warrior of Light? Which I think is any queer person's question that comes to mind and everything. So we do that Grand Melee thing to get everybody back on track because it was a huge bummer the first time the peace conference tried to start. And then when we do come back, things go well. And they reveal their nice Hraesvelgr and Shiva fan art that's in Falcon's Nest now for everybody to see. And then Nidhogg comes, possessing the body of Estinian, and stabs Vidolfnir in the back because he hates Hraesvelgr Shiva fan art. That's not his ship. And instead of just scrolling by and ignoring it, he has to cause a bunch of discourse in the comments about how he hates Shiva Hraesvelgr pairing. And it's like, oh my god, guy, you weren't even invited to this party. Then he starts shouting on the rooftop that everybody's gonna die because he hates Hraesvelgr Shiva fan art so bad. And then everybody starts chanting death to Nidhogg. Warrior of Light is completely silent during that because, again, like, they got roofied, then were asked to participate in a Grand Melee, then came back, decided to not drink at all. At that point, Warrior of Light's like, maybe I should go back to drinking, though, because it's just like the whole chorus of people shouting death to Nidhogg. Then Warrior of Light looks over to Amric, and Amric's like whispering Estinian's name as he's ignoring the crowd. And that's when Warrior of Light realizes that he or she should probably not take Amric up on that date because they are just a huge fucking rebound in this situation. And to be fair, Warrior of Light has just barely buried Hachiphant, so what I'm saying is that Amric, be careful. I think you're both just being each other's rebound in this, and so it's like, you know, maybe rethink that date a little bit. Anyways, Alfino then comes up to us and is like, look, I know things look dire right now with the whole Estinian thing, in which I'm like, you don't say. Like, I mentioned this in last stream, but when I was first playing through Heavensward, I wrote Estinian off as dead. I mean, if, like, Minfilia was kinda dead, meaning that, yeah, we could kinda talk with her, but she doesn't really have a physical form anymore. Like, she ain't coming back. I was like, Estinian's even worse off than that, but then Alfino's like, I want to save Estinian. Like, no matter how hard it is, no matter how many people like Sir Amric, because Amric is like blue screening himself because he realizes that he's going to have to make a choice, and it's kill Estinian. So Amric's like, I choose kill Estinian, but then Alfino raises his hand and he's like, I choose not kill Estinian. There's gotta be some way to, like, I don't know, rip those eyeballs off of him or something. So, you know, that's when you're like, oh shit. Like, I remember I was like, I gotta save Estinian. Not because I cared that much about Estinian, but because Alfino asked me to, and I'm like, fuck, like, I can't let Alfino down. Like, he's been through way too much. He's lost a lot of people in, like, less than a year, alright? Like, we can't let this boy go through any more trauma. He is already, like, the trauma level went to 100%, so we're not going to let it go to 110%. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Alfino's like, no! We let Hatrafot die, we let Yazael die, and then Minfilia is in a state beyond a mortal being. I draw the line at Estinian. And we're like, okay, like, that's our new path in life, I guess. So, this is now 3.3 Revenge of the Horde. I'm already predicting we're splitting this one up into two halves, because this is kind of a grand conclusion to most of the Heavensward plot. Everything up until now has kind of been leading to this patch. There'll be 2 more patches after this, but they are more like what I call segue pieces that are going to get us into the next game. So this will be it. This is the conclusion to the Dragon Song War. Ah, Mr. Savage, I heard you said that this is the conclusion to the Dragon Song War? Like, that's weird. But anyways, it's well that you're here. You're wanted. Inside. I believe Master Alfino wishes a word with you. Go talk to that other guard. I'm saying the same line as I usually do. There's only one time that guy ever changes his line, but that is the same line every single time. The science will find a way. I just know we will. That's her also not giving up on Ida and Papalymo, because again, we have only seen the meanwhile back at the Ida Papalymo camp, and we have no idea where they are. We get the feeling that they're with Alamegans right now, because the camp is very Alamegan. And considering that Ida is from Alamigo, we're like, okay, so they went to go hide out with the Alamegans, but they won't leave, and why? Alfino's like, stop talking about Alamigo, that's not what we're doing yet. Ah, Yorva, there you are. Have you a moment? There is something I would fain to discuss. You just... She's like, faint discuss? He's like, no, feign discuss. Do you know? No, okay. I must ask you to recall the events which unfolded at the peace conference. If you had done this back to back, I could only imagine like the peace conference that happened like 5 seconds ago. Like, can you recall when Estinian yelled at us, or I should say Nidstinian yelled at us? Though I dare say you would sooner forget them. That was quite a major plot point. My mind returns again and again to the moment when Nidhogg appeared before the crowd in the guise of Estinian. It's kind of weird that he wears him like a meat suit. Yorva's like, Alfino, let's not think too hard about it, okay? It was a sight to chill the soul, but one which gave me reason to hope that our friend might not be beyond salvation. When you described his fateful transformation in Ozzy's law, I feared him lost forever, but the mere fact that some semblance of his former self endures must surely count for something. Yorva's like, I don't know, did you see him raise his arms into the sky and float like a fucking poltergeist? And then just through a swirl of magic, a giant ass fucking dragon appeared in front of us? Like, what even happened to his physical body in that moment? Like, the physical body of Estinian just disappeared, and then it was the body of Nidhogg. I don't... It's magic and shit, but yeah. Can you recall the nightmarish events that occurred this morning? It was a rough morning for... By Square Enix's logic, it wasn't even the previous morning. It was like 1 hour ago. In reality, I believe we waited, was it 3.5 or 4 months before we got to this? We usually have to sit on our asses for quite a while until they're like, more story. But then, okay, so he's like, I have no evidence to support this impression. Yorva's like, yeah, this is a big shot in the dark, really. Thus did I turn to Y'shtola and Cryo for a more empirical appraisal. Why empirical? And full glad that I am that I did. It would seem that they have some observations of their own to share. The ladies have saved us a table at the Forgotten Night. Shall we go? It's ladies' night. Alfino can count. He's not drinking, so... Excellent. Let us not keep our honored colleagues waiting. It's ladies' night plus the 16-year-old boy they all have to take care of. I want to believe that the night is like, you can't have your child in here, and it's like I think just like I'm trying to think, like, would it be Cryo or Y'shtola that would be given the look that would just make them shut up and just like throw their hands up and be like, I'm not getting involved in this. And so then Alfino is just sitting at the table. Do you have anything interesting? The name does this establishment a disservice. Remarkably few of its patrons seem inclined to drink their way into oblivion. I do begin to see why Tataru chose to work here. That's really funny, considering that this is the only bar in Ishgard, and I think Y'shtola has to be lying here, because I cannot imagine, with the state of everything, that most people are not coming here on the daily and just drinking themselves until they hit the floor and need to be dragged home. Because that's exactly what I would do if I lived in Ishgard, so... Like, she's saying that really nobody comes to the Forgotten Night to just drink until they can't, like, remember anything?
We have kept you waiting over long, I fear.
Not to worry, Alfino. We had some rather fine mulled wine to keep us company. Truth be told, you could have delayed your arrival a few moments more.
They're like, you're ruining ladies' night, Alf, you know?
Gibrion got the spicing just right this time. His latest batch is not only delicious and warming, but soothing to the humours.
They're not beating the allegations that they are all partying here. Like,
indeed. But 'twas not to soothe our humours that we gathered here.
Ah, no, quite right. The matter of that poor dragoon.
You have discovered something. A means to save him?
Let us not jump to conclusions, shall we?
she's like, yeah, you just twirl around 3
Make an
times.
educated analysis, as you were taught.
She's like, you have your degree, don't you?
Pray, cast your mind back to the moment of Estinian's transformation. Do you recall how you described it to us?
I want to know what exactly
you spoke
you
of the sudden
said.
pangs which racked his body when he took up both of Nidhogg's eyes, and of how his form was twisted thereafter into a shadowy semblance of the Great Worm.
When he appeared at Falcon's Nest, the worm's eyes were fused to his mail.
Would that only his armor had been corrupted. Snaking forth from the eyes, I descried dark tendrils which entangled his very being. His ether has been all but smothered.
Then he is lost to us forever?
He's fucking dead.
What did I just say about jumping to conclusions? Y'shtola clearly stated all but smothered.
That's not very positive, though.
Matched my own. Though Nidhogg's presence filled my mind's eye, beneath his seething aura, I sensed the merest hint of something else.
She's like, something gay. Like, extremely homosexual.
His observations, I became more certain of my suspicion that the something else I had sensed was, in fact, the trace of a different will, submerged in the sea of Nidhogg's rage.
You mean...
Yes, 'tis like that Estinian spirit yet lingers.
Like a ghost.
Can we not wrest him from Nidhogg's grasp, then? Tear the eyes from the armor?
We know not if that would serve to separate Worm's soul from man's. None have ever attempted such a feat.
Nobody else has become a dragon like that.
Should it offer even the faintest hope of success, then by the gods, I shall be the first to try.
It's like, we don't even have a control group for this experiment.
By all means, hold fast to your hope, but be mindful of the dangers. Even should you succeed in excising the eyes from the dragoon's mail, we have no way of knowing if your friend's soul would survive so violent a separation. And that is to say nothing of the possibility that his would-be savior might become Nidhogg's next host.
Yeah, that's actually very possible.
But what other choice remains to us? Should the opportunity present itself, I will tear those foul orbs from Estinian's armor and trust in the resilience of his soul, even at the risk of mine own.
Ah! I found you at last!
Hey, it's little guy.
A messenger of the Temple Knights came to the manor some few hours past. The Lord Commander humbly requests the company of the Warrior of Light and Master Alphino.
Just those two, no one else.
Sir Emmerich would speak with us. Very well, thank you, Onawa.
'Twould seem duty calls. Pray see to yours, and we shall return to ours.
Thank you, Y'shtola, Kryl. Your words have given me hope where there was none.
Does anybody know where Thancred is?
Sir Emmerich awaits.
Oh wait, he's being sneaky right now. He's back in the woods or whatever.
Alphino is allowing his feelings for this dragoon to cloud his thoughts. I worry he may do something rash. Keep an eye on him, would you?
Yorva's like, oh, I might do something rash. I'm like the last person you should ask, honestly. Like, oh, the Warrior of Light has it. They'll be fine.
They think more of their friends' deliverance than their foes' defeat. But will history commend their fealty or condemn their folly?
I'm sorry, but is anybody else in the bar, like... Like, Gilbrand is right over there. He could probably see right in front of him.
The conference held at Falcon's Nest was to be a celebration of the reconciliation twixt man and dragon. But the lingering shade of Nidhogg, clad in the flesh of the Azure Dragoon, did mark the occasion by spilling the blood of his own kind. A timely atrocity to remind the children of Ishgard that the Dragonsong War was far from over. And when fear gave way to fury, the call to arms rang out anew. Death to Nidhogg! Death to Nidhogg!
Oh, glad some other Warrior of Light has their Midgardsormr out, because it's like... I love that tiny Midgardsormr in our pocket or whatever just likes to pop out, monologue for 5 seconds, and then go back. But what just happened there in the bar? Like, Midgardsormr's like, yes. They're going to think about saving Estinian, but they don't even think about how they're even going to kill Nidhogg, because that has to happen first, guys. But, like, their patrons are right there, and so I like to believe, like, some guy is drinking, just sees this little dragon pop up out of nowhere, say a few lines, and then that guy has to be like, you know what? I think it's time to stop drinking, and then he just leaves his cup on the counter and goes. Like... What news has Sir Aymeric to share with us, I wonder? Alfina's like, what's this about, Midgardsormr? I don't even... Wait, is this the Shiva? It has Hailstorm. Might Sir Aymeric perchance have received word of a Dravani in advance? Or mayhap they have located this, that is to say, mayhap Nidhogg has been found. Yorva's like, okay, even I have to start agreeing with Cryo right now. Alfino, you're gonna have to, like, can you just stop single-mindedly thinking about Estinian right now? Come, I would hear what the Lord Commander has to say. He's like, the war is back on. We had the we're so back moment, and now it's like the we're so over. We're in the it's so over.
My friends, I thank you for coming.
You have had news of Nidhogg?
Alas not. Our scouts range far and wide, but they have as yet found no trace of the Great Worm.
We dispatched an elite unit of dragoons to reconnoiter the churning mists. But even they returned empty-handed.
Okay, there's like maybe 2 named dragoons. And one of them is the spiked butt.
Fear not, Elfino. We shall see the worm again soon enough. His words at Falcon's Nest attest to that.
They're like, do not worry, Alfino,
Indeed,
we have the spiked butt on this.
Than we would wish.
I assume Ishgard's defenses are being bolstered as we speak?
With all haste. I mean to call upon every able-bodied warrior at our disposal, from the Knights of the Four Houses to the men and women of the Watch. But I did not summon you to discuss strategy.
What then would you have of us, my lord?
I wanted to show you this really cool drawing.
Plain. Now that Nidhogg is possessed of both of his eyes, no mortal force we can muster will repel him. That being the case, we must needs recruit an ally of equal strength.
Yeah, Ishgard's only ever faced one-eyed Nidhogg. They've never faced...
You speak of Hraesvelgr?
Two-eyed Nidhogg.
I do. To whom else could we turn?
Well, I do got the father of all dragons in my
Nidhogg's
pocket.
equal, I do not deny. Nor can I name another. But convincing the reclusive creature to do battle with his own brood brother will be... How shall I put this?
It will be no small undertaking, yes. Estinian's report was most particular about Hraesvelgr's unwillingness to involve himself in the affairs of men.
Meaning Estinian wrote, "This bitch don't care."
But much has changed since your visit to Somal. And if there is even a chance that the dragon may be swayed, I must plead our case. Whatever price the dragon asks of me, I shall pay it. Such was my oath, to defend the people of Ishgard.
Don't say anything.
Come what may, my friends, the battle with Nidhogg will mark the end of my tenure as the acting head of church and state. Will you help me discharge this final duty?
He's like, finally I could retire.
We will, my lord. Though I fear our involvement offers no guarantee of success. Come then. We will depart at your leisure.
Thank you. Both of you. The city is yours, First Commander.
My lord, we shall pray for your swift return.
The amount of Ishgardians in a small amount of time that have gone up to Hraesvelgr and are like, Hraesvelgr, please listen to me. At this point, Hraesvelgr's gotta be totally fed up with her fucking shit. I somehow doubt that Hraesvelgr will be pleased to see us. Alvino's like, the last time Yzael tried to say that she was his wife, his dead wife. But for Estinian's sake and that of countless others, I suppose we must risk his displeasure. Like, Alfino knows what's up. Aymric's like, what's the harm? He can only say no. And Yorva's like, It grieves me to impose upon you in this manner, but you of all people understand the threat we now face. It is no imposition, Sir Aymric. We've already talked to Hraesvelgr several times. To Yorva and I, Ishgard is as a second home. After the many battles we have fought and the bonds we have forged, the plight of your nation has become our own. If there is aught that we can do to aid in its salvation, then pray impose all you must. Well, that was a really quick... He just looked down. You are true friends. He's like, I actually don't have a whole lot of friends, if you can believe that. Shall we be about our task, then? We have no way of knowing when Nidhogg's shade will strike, and we must assume that time is not our ally. Yeah. Indeed, with that in mind, I have taken the liberty of dispatching a messenger to inform Mistress Tataru that you will be escorting me to Somal. I confess I did not provide the exact details of our destination, as they are yet unknown to me. He's just like, I've never been there, but we're going. We will summon Hraesvelgr at Zenith in the Churning Mists. Ere we begin our ascent, however, I think it best that we pay a visit to Annick's Shrine. You seek an advantage in the coming negotiations? I do. I would consult with Vidofnir. I propose this in part of our concern for her condition. Were she to succumb to her wounds, it would have grave consequences for our alliance. that apart, she may be able to provide insight into her sire's current state of mind. She's just gonna be like, yeah, Father's, he's been mentally unwell for thousands of years. I don't... Well reasoned. To the Dravanian Forlands, then. Let's see. Annex Shrine. Alright. I mean, of course, I'm like, dude, I just want to see if Vidolfnir's okay. Vidolfnir is actually, like, one of my favorite dragons. Like, I like her more than some of the main, you know, first brood dragons. Like, Vidolfnir is a real one. She shows wisdom that even some of the first brood can't even show, and they're, like, tons older than she is. Ah, 'tis the warrior of warriors. She says that, and Yorva's like, it's actually warrior of light. Never mind. 'Tis the warrior of warriors and her companions. What bringeth you to my abode? Yorva's like, have you ever thought about talking to somebody named Uri Anje? I think you guys would speak the same language. Pray forgive us for disturbing your recuperation, Vidolfnir. I hope your wound does not pain you overmuch. Didst thou imagine me close to death? I am a fucking dragon. The thrust was deep. Please, Yorva's like, don't say. She's like, what is wrong with it? She's like, no, don't say that in front of the Ishgardians. The thrust was deep, but not mortal. I will heal in time. Full glad am I to hear it. We're the guests of honor at our conference, and you were the guest of honor at our conference, and we failed in our duty of protection. On behalf of Ishgard, I apologize unreservedly. I am a dragon full... She's like, I'm a fucking adult, okay? I'm a dragon full grown, and thou thought to protect me, mortal. I was tempered by the fires of battle ere thy grandsire learned to crawl. Thy words do remind me of a knight whom I called friend some 1,000 years past. He swore to defend me from harm and hardship. Would that we could return to that era of peace, when man and dragon knew such camaraderie. Aimrick's like, maybe even kiss a little? I don't know. And they're like, no, keep your dragon fetish on the fucking low down. Would that our every effort to do so were not undone by ancient rancor. For a truth, there can be no peace while Nidhogg's shade yet lingereth. That much is plain, yet we lack the strength to banish him. Thus do we make for some all, to beseech the aid of your sire once more. And that's when she's like, oh, Father's gonna love this. Like, can you imagine, like, to a dragon, it's like somebody's knocking, like, every 5 seconds. Like, can we talk about something that is, like, mentally anguishing to you? Folly. Thou knowest as well as I he will answer, how he will answer with depression. Hraesvalgr's heart remains unchanged then. A pity. But if it is folly to hope, then I am content to die a fool. She's like, you probably already will, but as hath ever been the way with thy kind. Go then, but be warned. The Shade's presence hath driven its minions to frenzy. Translation is shit up there. Thank you, Vidolfnir. We shall disturb your rest no longer. She's like, wait, before you go, do you want some pasta? That's pasta. Do you want some pasta? Or an apple strudel? Can I interest you in some spiced cider? Yorva's like, hold on. I have this Loten steak. What is this? I'm gonna imagine like it's goat. Oh my gosh, the descriptions here. It's soaked in a marinated paprika, sherry, and thyme. Who is Gordon Ramsay up here? Who of the dragons are like, we have a Gordon Ramsay? Gordon Ramsay that speaks Shakespearean like the dragons. Somebody make that happen. Noodles tossed in olive oil that have been infused with solstice garlic and dragon peppers. Like, this is making me hungry. Which one has the strength attached to it? That's definitely for tanks, so... Do I need skill speed? I like the direct hit rate one. We're gonna do with... Oh gosh, how do you spell that? Or how you even say that? Bassiola? It's got chewy noodles, heaped with a generous portion of seasonal mushrooms and drowned in tomato sauce. Like, Yorva is, like, reading off the menu right now. Like, yeah, I'll take some of this. And, like, Aymeric and Alfino are just over there, like, are you done? Aymeric's like, do you have some to share? Lucia's report described Annick's trying in detail, but her words failed to convey the overwhelming strangeness of standing in the Zmeen of Dragons. Aymric's like, it's even stranger that they have a Gordon Ramsay here. Though I expected no better answer from Vidofnir, I take little pleasure from having been proven right. This is like his comment where he's like, I'm glad that Hraesvalgr answered us. It's too bad that I hated what he just said. It would seem that our presence at Zenith will be every bit as unwelcome as I anticipated. But what is the ire of one great worm to a trio of self-confessed fools such as ourselves? Yorva's like, you will not rope me into it. You two can pass the brain cell back and forth. I'm keeping my own. Let us begin our ascent. After you, Master Alfino. Scout ahead if you wish, Yorva. We shall join you outside Mogholm. Oh god, she's like, okay. And she's like, oh god, Aymric's gonna meet the Moogles. She's like, I have to go. He doesn't know about the Moogles. I love this part. We did this first with the Stynian, and now we're nearly, this is the more condensed ascent. But we're doing the same exact thing with Aymeric. If it's not very obvious, Aymeric and Stynian have lots of parallels in this game. Harkening back to another Final Fantasy game where there is a Dragoon and I guess technically a prince, but the Lord Commander seems lost for words. I mean, look at how far up we are. Nor can I blame him. I recall being similarly awestruck when I first beheld this vista. I just love it. This is like feeding a Victorian orphan a Cheeto. I had heard tales of the world above the clouds, but never did I dream. One's mind paints a pale picture of its majesty. Yeah, it is pretty cool. Yorva's like, yeah, it's kind of cool. Few live to see such wonders. I'm reminded of my first visit to this peak, which, by Square Enix's term, happened 2 days ago, where Estini and Yazel yet walked at our side. Here we go. Hey, Rick, have you ever met a Moogle before? Kupopo? Is that you, Yorva? Ah, if it isn't, Don't tell me you've forgotten my name, Kupo! Oh god. I can't remember. Are they gonna quiz me on this? After all we've been through together. We're gonna be so racist to this guy. We're like, I'm sorry, you guys all look the same. And he's like, oh, I'm filing a report, Kupo. But at least you remember me. You do remember me, don't you, Yorva? This is where we say the racist option. All Moogles look the same to me. This is one of the options that gave me the headcanon that Zuyaya is so fucking bad with names. Because I'm bad with names and I can't fucking remember. Mostly because, to me, the player, it has been months. I think his name is Moghan, isn't he? Because Moglin is, Moglin's below, isn't he? Moghan. Oh, good, I got it right. Ooh, you seemed a bit hesitant for a moment there. I saw you hovering over several options, Yorva. Yorva's like, you can see my dialogue? He's like, of course. Can't everybody? But I'm sure you were just fondly recalling the time we camped near Zenith, right, Kupo? But putting our shared history to one side, what brings you and your friends to Mogholm, Kupo? Well, everybody's gonna die. Ah! Another audience with old Racewalker, then. Death? I get that. Well, I hope you brought the horn, Kupo. You didn't just shove it somewhere and forgot about it. With the winds as gentle as they are, a good loud toot should reach the great worm's ears easily enough. Yorva's like, can we stop calling it a toot? That is good to hear, Moghan. Thank you. We had best press on to Zenith. I like that Aymeric has said 0 words. He's just like, I'm letting the Warrior of Light and Alfino, they are the ones who are talking through this one. I am just going to stand here and say nothing. We had best press on to Zenith while the winds are in our favor. He literally said nothing. He can't see them, right? He can't see them. Oh, Moglin's the chieftain. Okay, that's what it... Now that was unexpected, Kupo. Chieftain Moglin will want to hear about this. It would have been so hilarious if they didn't reveal themselves to Aymeric. Because the lore is like, the Moogles have to want you to see them in order for you to... That would have been hilarious, though, if Americ's just like... Maybe he didn't say a word because he had no idea what we were talking to, and he was just like, okay, did the wind tell you something? Oh my gosh, hold on. Watch Yorva for a little bit. I have the bathroom calling to me urgently. Okay. I've returned. Yeah, I didn't want to get into the next, we're approaching a dungeon, and I'm like, I can try to hold it, but I just believe in bladder health. Don't try to hold in. Honestly, it's classic Warrior of Light to be told something by the wind. Yeah, I mean, Americ's really cool because he has hung around us enough that when something strange really happens, like, he won't question it. Like, he's still on the verge of maybe doubting some things. But, I also want to say how far we've come. When we first met Americ, he was kind of more of an intimidating diplomat. And he was a little bit cold to us, because, I mean, he's a diplomat. He's not here to make friends. But he's entering a period with Warrior of Light, like, you're my best friend. Pray sound the horn, Yorva. Yorva was like, hold on, it's somewhere in my bag. I don't know where it is. Americ's evolution right now is that we have done enough in front of Americ that Americ is like, if Warrior of Light does anything or needs to do anything, just let them do it. Because Americ automatically knows that whatever Warrior of Light is doing is always going to work in his favor. So he's just like, I'm not even going to... You can be talking to the wind and he just does not give a fuck, but... I love that during the entire conversation with the Moogle, he says nothing. And that is the smart thing to do, because he's a very smart man. We must win Hraesvalgur to our cause. Fail in this and Ishgard's fate is all but sealed. Also, I did say before, like, Aberk doesn't have many friends. He has way more friends than Estinian, but let's just say, this man actually doesn't have a lot of, like, good friends. He's got Lucia and maybe Handaloo. But even then, they're kind of like work friends. But never stated outright. Not Hraesvalgur. Well, Hraesvalgur's lonely, but Americ's a little bit of a lonely man. It's lonely at the top, you see. Hey, how's it going? You dare summon me again, mortals. He's like, how many times?
Hraesvalgur, 'tis not lightly that we beg this audience. Pray hearken to our words, for they concern the future of man and dragon both.
Yeah, I know. This is what we said last time, though, Alfino. It's like, you brought a new guy in front of me. He's blue.
Greetings, Hraesvalgur. I am Emeric de Burrell, acting ruler of the nation of Ishgard. I am come before you to parley on behalf of my people.
To parley. Thinkest thou thy purpose unclear to me? He's like, why else would you be here? Thou art come to beg mine aid in the battle against the shade of my brood brother. He's like, I know he's around. I'm not stupid. I mean, that is what we were doing.
You foresaw mine intent.
I mean, it was very obvious. I but read that which is writ plain in thine eyes. Would that thou had writ enough to scry the answer in mine. Or it had the wit. My beloved Shiva did once build a bridge twixt man and dragon, a bridge which thy treacherous forefathers saw fit to tear down, as thou knowst well. Thinkest thou Nidhogg was alone in despairing at the murder of our brood sister? Thinkest thou mine own soul did not cry out for vengeance? Know then that upon that accursed day my heart did wither in my breasts, and thy kind became unto me the harbingers of despair. 'Tis only Shiva's gentle dream that preventeth me from flying at Nidhogg's shoulders. Be grateful that I swore to abjure aggression ere I consumed her. I permit my children to offer or deny thee aid as they see fit, to warn thy people of my brood brother's coming. Oh, I couldn't read fast enough. But he's just like, y'all are shit and you deserve it. And he's not wrong, I mean.
We understand that in your despair at man's betrayal, you seek only the refuge of solitude. But despite your protestations of spent faith, do you not still nurture the smallest flame of hope?
Perceiveth thou such light in the dusk of mine existence? Wow, did you write that in your diary?
I do. If you claim I see falsely, then tell me, why did you consent to bear Azel upon your back?
She asked really nicely. Yazael, piteous deluded Yazael. The child did lament her past sins, and sought to balance the scales with her remaining days. 'Twas her unquenchable passion, so alike to that of my beloved, which did spur me to flight. And for mine own part, I would countenance no longer the hands of evil men to use my brood brother's eye for ill. He was, I mean,
so you do distinguish between those who acknowledge and repent their sins and those who perpetuate them. Interesting.
Oh, that sounds so smart,
It
Alki.
seems to me that you have not, in fact, lost faith in mankind as a whole. Rather, you weigh our respective merits by how we allow the past to influence our future.
Spare me thine idle sophistry. He's like, check your attitude. Even were there a mote of truth in thy reasoning, what of it? Wouldst thou have me slay my own kin? He's like, I'm not going to kill my brother.
Should we suffer ties of blood to bind our hands, then? Nay, if the crime is one of unconscionable evil, we must needs condemn it, even should the transgressor be our closest kin. When my father corrupted himself and his followers with the power of a primal, I beseeched the Warrior of Light to slay him, an act alike to patricide. That he did not die by my hand matters little. If anything, it heaps greater disgrace upon my name. But had my father not fallen, he would have drawn countless thousands into a holy war of hellish proportions, which I hold the greater crime. Thus did I order his execution, sparing the lives of my people and yours. Alas, your brother Worm now prepares to murder those whom I sought to spare. What is more, he has taken my comrade's body for his own. But if I must slay my dearest friend to defeat my direst foe, I will not flinch from my duty.
Thou wouldst strike down thy friend, and, by example of thy righteousness, persuade me to break mine oath and kill my kindred. He's like, you can kill your father all you want. Oh yeah, he's like, what is this? Heed me, my child. The servants of Hydaelyn envision a different outcome. They intend salvation not only for Ishgard, but for the doomed Dragon Slayer as well. Abrix, that is news. He's like, what? Believest I can't read fast enough. I'm laughing too hard at... He's just saying, like, hey, they're like trying really hard and they want to save everybody. They're not saving just their own hides. They want to save everybody who can be saved. And if Nidhogg could be saved, they would save him. That's what he's trying to convince him, but Nidhogg is beyond saving, and we all know this. I mean, he's already technically dead, but I know I have to like pause because the father of all dragons just pops up out of nowhere, and Aemric's face during that moment where he is not prepared for that. And then that dragon says, you know that these two are even thinking about saving Estinian here, because they don't believe him beyond salvation. And Aemric is over there full on with the conviction of like, I will kill Estinian if I have to, because I must, it's my duty. And so he's getting a double dose of, I'm sorry, is that the father of all dragons just popping right in front of my face? And then the father of all dragons saying, like, they're going to try to save Estinian. They don't think he's going to die. And Aemric's just sitting there like, what? Anyways. I was gonna say, help us save our companion. Thou wishes to rescue the dragoon from his fate along with the rest. I do begin to see why Yzael entrusted her hope onto thee. Thy purpose is pure, but so too is my brood brother's wrath. I can't read fast enough. Hast thou the strength of will to stand against so terrible a shadow, I wonder? 'Twould seem I must put thee and thy companions to the proof. I shall await thee in the ruins wherein Ratatoskr once dwelled. Heed well the words of my children, and haste thee to the place of thy trial. So he's like, I'm going to test you. You have to fight. And they're like, okay, well, that's what we do. Aemric is still in shock. Okay. He's still like, Yorva's like, this is why I took the bathroom break. Okay, so we got a healer to tank, and then there's me. Moghan, are you coming? He's like, whoa, no, oh god, fuck. And then he goes. See, Midgardsormr, this is why you gotta stop just popping up out of nowhere and just monologue. Another day, another trial. Alfino's like, it's almost like we gotta do a dungeon like every patch we do. Such ordeals must almost seem mundane to you by now. Would that I could say the same. He's like, I've only done like one dungeon with you. Estinian wouldn't let me come to the Eyrie. I believe I spied a wyvern landing just outside the palace. It is doubtless one of the children of whom Hreysvalgr spoke. Come, my friends. Let us not keep our escort waiting. Okay, we're still missing, like, Pogorogo, will you be our fourth person for the DPS? God, if we could get Moghan. But that won't make sense as, I know what's going to happen in that dungeon, but, you know. Oh, he's saying the same line. For the sake of Ishgard, I shall overcome whatever trial is placed before me, and I have no doubt that you will do the same, Yorva. So, in the past, my broodmates and I will bear you to the place of your trial. Make your preparations. So in the past, Warrior of Light did the Sorkai dungeon, and you typically did that with other players. Aymeric and Alfino had their own separate trials to do. I believe it was canon that Aymeric has to fight Verdolfnir, not Vidolfnir, Verdolfnir, which is Vidolfnir's her brother. And Verdolfnir, and I think Alfino just had to battle something else. I'm not sure. But the canon has now been changed, because now they come with you. Alright, who we got? Oh my god, it's Temple Banneret! He's back! Yeah, I still remember this vividly. Aymeric makes some comment after it, like, Verdolfnir, like, delightfully fights Aymeric. Like, he's like, oh yeah, I want to totally beat up that guy. But, oh my god, the Temple Banneret from the vault. I like to imagine, like, Aymeric just, like, calls him up. He's like, yeah, you wanna fight some dragons? And he's like, yeah, my schedule's free, I guess. Temple Banneret. My favorite. So this cutscene has to be changed a little bit. In the original, you all are flying here, and then they split off to do their own trials, while you do this trial. Okay, so yeah, this is where that... Yeah. You'd see them fly away from you, but they're with you, okay. Where's Temple Banneret? Where's his dragon? He's just like, I'll go on ahead, I'll meet you guys there. God, this guy! He's been through some shit. Alright, I'm excited. The Aymeric dungeon. I want to point out, I mean, this is in the same area, so the music's gonna be the same, but, the dungeon you do with Estinian, the Aerie, has the same tune, the same music as this, because dungeons typically have the music of their surrounding area. It's a remixed version. So this is now the second remixed version of that song. Estinian's version, or I should call it Nidhogg's version, is called The Worm's Roar. This song is called Apologies, which is tied to Aymeric. This is one of my favorite leitmotifs of Heavensward, is this tune, but so the first leitmotif is Estinian / Nidhogg, and then the second leitmotif is Aymeric and Hraesvalgr. So again, there's a duality. The duality of the dragons, the brothers, and then the duality of brothers in arms, which is Aymeric and Estinian. And especially at this point in the story, Aymeric is again willing to fight Estinian to the death, simply because he also knows that Estinian does not want this fate, and he's going to save him from this fate in a way that honestly makes sense to Aymeric. I mean, Alfino has his conviction that we're going to save Estinian at all costs, but Aymeric has been living in a time of war for a very long time. I think he knows the score, and so does Estinian. But anyways, I just wanted to point out, the song that is playing right now, called Apologies, is, how should I say, it is a foreshadowing of the narrative that's going on between Nidhogg and Hraesvalgr, and also the narrative that is going on between Estinian and Aymeric. They're all connected. But it's also why The Worm's Roar and Apologies are two of my favorite songs from the Heavensward soundtrack. And then, so the song all stems from, I think it's Foothills. Foothills is the Dravanian Forelands. I can't remember the name of the areas surrounding music, but in that area where, you know, there's Mogholm, there's Hraesvalgr's domain, and then there's, you know, the Eyrie where Nidhogg resides. That is where the song stems from, is the music that plays while you're flying around the area.
Away with you!
But when I listen to Apologies, well, I agree it's kind of Hraesvalgr's theme. I consider Apologies to kind of be Aymric's as well. Because again, he's coming to apologize. Alright. Now for something different. It's Chieftain Moglin. And now the music's gonna change. So I'll admit, when I first heard Good King Mogglmog in this dungeon, I thought it was, oh, it's because they're Moogles. This is the Moogle song. But then I remembered, like, probably years later, after the fact, Good King Mogglmog is based off of the legend of this larger Moogle in the clouds that let his subjects climb down to the world below.
Down with you!
While this is not the original, I do believe that he is probably the descendant of Good King Mogglmog. So the reason why Good King Mogglmog is playing is because I truly believe we are beating his bloodline right now. So this isn't just the Moogle song. He is Good King Mogglmog, or at least his descendant. I guess I'm the one who's gonna have to do this on my own or something, maybe. Maybe Temple Banner was helping a little bit. You have to dock the Moogles out of there or else they'll be revived. I'm not chieftain because I'm the biggest. I'm chieftain because I'm the baddest. That's my favorite line. Okay, so he's a bad bitch. He's just, I guess when Hraesvalgr wants to put mortals through trials, Chieftain Moglin is on the case. Oh gosh, Amber just said the air is rather thin up here. I can only imagine that this is like... This is like severe mountain climbing. I almost thought it was reversed though, because it's Amric saying like the air is rather thin up high, or this high up, and Alfino says, this isn't a race, so let us pace ourselves. I almost thought that was like reversed, because you know... Usually Alfino's not being the adult of the group. Temple Banneret, do you have like anything to say? He's like, nope, I just take my orders and I shut up. He's a good character. Oh yeah. These are not dragon eggs, these are Anzu eggs. We're gonna make it. I messed up my rotation. Typically with other players we could smash a few of them, but I don't know. We're not very coordinated in duty support. That's one of the negatives of duty support is DPS is just not high. They do decent damage. It's just players usually are more bloodthirsty in destroying everything in their path. There's actually lots I can discuss about this dungeon. Of course, I think the most important is the music, of course. If you pay attention to the music of Final Fantasy XIV, you'll realize that there is foreshadowing and narrative going on in the music itself. This is why I believe most of the fan base worships Masayoshi Soken's very existence.
Down with you!
Yeah, Emmerich. Soken is also, to me, a storyteller of this game. He pays close attention to what is going on exactly in the story when he makes his music. So, like when this song Apologies is playing, like this is a narrative device talking about something in the story that you need to be paying attention to. And again, some of this stuff, the only reason why I ever even figured it out is either years of either listening to the song or playing the game, or you know, reading up on some things and listening to fan theories and stuff like that. I mean, it's gotten to the point where around Dawn Trail I try to pay attention real close to the music. It's how I ended up, not really, but thinking about a dungeon. What was it? It was the Tender Valley one? Where, because like I know there's narrative bits to pay attention to music, but simply because I just like Soken's music a lot. That's usually why I pay attention. But we were doing Tender Valley and I was like, oh, this sounds like Ronka, and even though my brain was just like, it sounds like Ronka because it's Soken's work, you know? That's usually what I assume. It's like, well, of course, Masayoshi Soken's music sounds like Masayoshi Soken's music. But little did I know, it sounded like Lost City of Ronka because it had a narrative reason to sound like that. He didn't just do it on accident. I wish I was smart enough to like be like, oh, does this have something to do with Ronka? I just thought, oh, cool, it sounds like that. Sometimes the puzzle pieces can be laid in front of me, does not mean I can connect them. So about this fight, we get why Moglin's there. I do not know why, I do not know why they keep a Pegasus up here. There's no explanation. This is again one of those boss fights where they have it for the sake of having a boss fight, but so this is one of the first boss fights that gets introduced where, yeah, you gotta be careful where you're standing. I mean, there's plenty of A Realm Reborn dungeons that are also like this. I'm thinking like even the Airy, where you have to bring like a lightning tether to a statue or something.
I have my pride.
Do you have your pride? I don't think you do, Alfino. So you have to be careful where that lightning strike hits, or else it will destroy one of the walls prematurely. And also I'm about to do... There you go. These thunderclouds will appear on a marked player. And you want to place that, again, not on one of the solid walls. When this dungeon first came out, we were not too used to an arena that would crumble apart like this. We were, of course, used to some elements where walls would be taken off.
Away with you!
Ravana's one. Oop. Yeah, you see what happened there? We destroyed this part of the wall because we angled it weird. More like I did. But other than that, this fight is really not that difficult, especially now. Thankfully, we managed to rein it in. Amaric, was that a horse joke? He just made a horse girl joke. Oh my god. This is a serious moment. Alright, so now we're at the very tippy top. Amaric, how are your lungs? This is... Good heavens, what a majestic place! That's what Alfino has to say. My gosh, we are very high up. I can only imagine that, Amaric, how dare you make a horse joke about... about the boss I forgot about. I mean, to be fair, like, why was there just Pegasus? I get, like, why one would maybe roost up there. Maybe they're like, hey, Pegasus decided to make its home on Ratatasker's, you know, little temple area. They're like, I don't, let him, you know, like... There's Racevalger, he's just around. He's pretty much saying like, oh, you've actually made it this far. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty easy to remember Moglin because, again, he has... I mean, Moglin does live in Hraesvalger's domain. I like that Hraesvalger is like, yeah, you guys can hang out here, like, I don't care. I have to imagine the Moogles have had to live up there longer than, like, when the Iscardians came around, so, like... Why did it take that dragon, like, 8 business days? Oh, that's why he has to make a bridge. I like that this dragon missed us so hard that, like... he made a bridge for us, on, like, maybe on accident. Yeah, so Moglin, like... Moglin makes sense. Because we even saw that Mogan watched us talk to Hraesvalger and then he kind of, like, ran off. You know he ran off and told Moglin, like, oh my god, they're doing a trial. And Moglin's like, guys, we practiced for this, go, go, go! And so they all rushed over here. Because they like Hraesvalger enough that they're like, we're gonna do the test with him. But, I don't have any reason why you should remember the Pegasus. The Pegasus is there for something you to fight, like, purely. They're like, ah, shit, we need one more boss to fight. Or like, I don't know, throw in a Pegasus. Everybody likes Pegasus. They're not wrong. We do like Pegasus. We like that. I think there should be more Pegasus fight. Alright. We made it to the final boss. So Hraesvalgr has also gotten both of his eyes back since Estinian was like, hey, I found your eyeball. Weird how we found your eyeball in Nidhogg's lair. So, this will test if we have the power to be a two-eyed dragon. Or I should say, a two-eyed dragon of the first brood. All that I have and more I shall bring to bear. Aymeric, that is Urianje's line. You stole that from him. Or did Urianje steal that from you? Because in the timeline you said it first. I think Alfino said something sweet. Alfino at the beginning of the battle says, pray watch over us, Yzael. Okay, so... how does this fight go now? Do we don't...
Focus. Release!
Okay.
For the House of Levair!
This fight was different when you went with players. There were a lot more platforms. I'm seeing some platforms... oh shit, Chipple banner out. I didn't know you were taking that side. I'm just gonna... okay, that doesn't continue.
Away with you!
Okay, you're watching me as I'm trying to figure out what the hell this fight is now. Originally, you'd be hopping from Diamond Store. Oh yeah, he has Shiva powers too. I forgot. He literally has Shiva inside of him. Okay. Are you? I was like, you guys are still in the AOE. Okay, I'm still safe here. Now I'm not. Oh shit, can I fall? I can't fall off, okay. You can fall off in the other version. Okay. Don't stack with Alfino, go over here. Again, this fight was, it was different back in the day. It has been changed for duty support. I think I remember going into this dungeon once, only once, since the changes. And I've never done it with Aymeric and Alfino, so... my brain is still used to the fight as it used to be, so I'm sitting here like, oh god, what do I do? These tiny platforms that you're seeing, not exactly them, but they were all circles like this one. You used to have to hop around and avoid Hraesvalgr as he's shooting things at you and flying around, and you hope that you don't get knocked off. Holy Storm, that just seems like an AoE. That's kind of like Diamond Storm, Diamond Dusk. Oh yeah, there's these things. Yeah, he can also do diamond abilities because of Shiva. I'm going to LB. I don't know if I'll make it before the fight's over. Okay, that killed him. But yeah, I saw Diamond Storm and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, Shiva. He doesn't even give you a congratulations, he just flies off. Wow. I gave my all, I pray it was enough. I like that this guy, he's got nothing to say. Dude, you just helped take down one of the first brood. What does Aeric say? I should forget this. I don't think anybody can forget a trial like that. Like, I don't even care if you are a warrior of light. You know, we're making pretty good time. Even bereft of an eye, my brood brother was a fearsome foe indeed. But having tasted thy strength firsthand, I do begin to see how thou didst bring him low. Heidelin choseth her servants well. Very well. I shall trust in the seed of man one last time. By thy deeds shall the flickering hope that lingereth yet in my heart be kindled anew, or extinguished forever. There's the brother and sister. Ferdolfnir's gotta be pissed. He's like, I didn't get to beat up Aemeric. That you yet stand is a ready proof of your determination, mortals. Let us fight as allies then, and together banish my brood brother's vengeful shade. On my oath, the wrath that was once Nidhogg shall beat its end. This I swear on the memory of my beloved Shiva, and on the soul of lost Yzael. He's like, maybe I could have dated her. Maybe. He still swiped left. Countless times have I fought the minions of Nidhogg, but never did I imagine that I would one day face Hreisvalgr himself. Yeah, so it would be here that he would talk about, like, how Ferdolfnir, beat the shit out of him, but he still won. He's like, I have bruises everywhere, but it was worth it. Oh, my poor ribs. That was a painful reminder of a great worm's might. Yeah, Alfino also, he says almost the same line too, but, and had he truly meant us harm, we would not be standing here now. Plainly, his intent was to teach. Yeah, this is a new line, because again, he talked about his own trial. And Alfino also, I think he said that, I think he was up against Moogles. I can't remember. Kind of like how we were up against Moglin or whatever. His onslaught forced me to recall my training about the speed of the dragon. His balance, his blind spots. It was, in short, a very thorough lesson. Yeah, Aemeric also says around the same thing here, except he's referring to Ferdolfnir instead of Hreisvalgr. Oh yeah, Aemeric, remember the Moogles? Okay, like, for sure he's seeing them, but that still would have been hilarious if he still had never seen them. Ow, 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 Kupo! Yorva, let me begin by congratulating you on the completion of your trial, but also can you bring some band-aids? For one with a name more befitting of a gesture, you fight with the savagery of a rabid demon. Do you see how my wings are kinked? No. Even my paw makes. After this drubbing, I fear my loyal subjects will have to bear the load of my personal chores for quite some time, Kupo. Possibly indefinitely. What? When I told you about Yorva's trial, I didn't mean for the rest of us to suffer. I just wanted some violence. Just a little bit of violence. That's triple shifts for you, Morgan. Triple? But that's not fair! There's no justice, Kupo. None at all. Amrick's face. He's like, do you guys deal with this on a daily basis? Yorva's like, kind of. Not all the time, but kind of.
Our negotiations proved rather more strenuous than I had anticipated, but the results seem well worth the effort.
The battle was indeed hard won. Thank you, my friends. I would never have earned Hreysvelga's cooperation had you not seen fit to grant me yours. 'Twas your stalwart heroism that moved the heart of the Great Worm at the last. Any gratitude I can offer is but poor reward for your continued service to Ishgard.
Twould seem our final reckoning with the dread worm is at hand. I only wish we had some inkling as to when he means to strike.
What about right now? You jinxed that. You jinxed that. You did that. It was you.
The cry heraldeth his coming. Nidhogg's shade hath taken wing.
Convenient.
It has begun. We must away to Ishgard.
Really? They're handing out, like, a potion in this? Okay. Like, that's gonna save us in the Nidhogg fight. I almost thought Alfino was slumped over, not thinking. He's just like, oh god, I said that out loud and I jinxed it. I pray we're not too late. So I think actually we might be able to end this, because we still got a pretty good, like, more than an hour, so... Ishgard will not last long against Nidhogg and his horde. We must away. And then we just teleport. We just teleport over. So maybe I lied. Maybe we won't do a two-parter. It seems like we made a good time on this. I know it is. I didn't have to insult Thancred's fit for like 30 minutes. That's why we saved time. Know you then what this roar portended? No, we can't have a single damn clue. Like, we weren't just talking about it.
I must return to my city without delay.
Then we shall lend you our wings. Let us meet with Nidhogg on the field of battle, and together bring an end to his wrathful song. This makes everything a lot easier. It would be like a really long journey. I mean, we could just teleport, but I guess, you know, where's the dramatics in that? Like, this is way more cinematic than just, you know, hitting return. So here it is, the steps of faith, where we began everything in the first place. And here's where it will end. Oh, that guy just... that guy's dead, guys. I don't know what else to say. I don't think he can survive a fall off of there. Hey, Artuaro. And my favorite, Lucia. Where's Hilda?
Remember your training! We hold fast until the Lord Commander returns.
Boy, are you in for a treat. God, she's so hot.
We must hold.
That's like the hottest thing a character can do in this game. Both literally and figuratively, that was a lot of fire. Oh. Again, I don't know, they landed on a trampoline below. That's what happened. he's just resting. Yeah, they're pissing their pants.
Reinforcements! By the Fury, that one is the size of Nidhogg.
Lord Commander!
You are late, Warrior of Light.
Don't tell me what to do. God, I have to voice both dragons. Wherefore standest thou with these vermin, brother? He's pissed. Abandon this war, shade. He's like, you're a ghost. The suffering thou sworest served no end, Pessoeth. The traitor's progeny have learned of their forefathers' betrayal and seek now to make amends with our kind. Never shall our grief be assuaged, nor our loss forgotten, but reconciliation may halt the spread of this plague of enmity. Forsake thy vengeance and be at peace. What soft-hearted ramblings are these? Thy dalliances with that vile maid hath robbed thee of thy wits. Mayhap her cloying perfume... Oh gosh, I gotta do this. Hath made thee forget the stench of our brood brother's life, brood sister's blood. Thou speakest thus of my beloved? He's like, don't talk shit on my wife. Ah, so the flames of rage may yet be kindled. I fear thy heart's fire had long since gone out, but waste not the fury on words, brother. I can't read. All my dialogue is being blocked. Thou shalt have need of it for the battle. Yeah, because they're technically speaking, the auto dialogue moves too fast. But they're not speaking English. But I love that moment where he's like, I'm gonna talk shit on your wife. I like that Hraesvelgr, like, really gets going in this fight, all because he's like, your waifu was a whore, and he's like, oh, fuck no. They died, guys. I'm kidding. Both Aymeric and Lucia perish. He's like, we gotta go fight. We gotta go do something about that. You guys ready for a fucking dragon fight? This is a really good moment. This is really good. You know, I always wondered what would happen if two dragons clashed, and like, apparently, like, this is what happens. Like, I didn't have it on my bingo card. Everybody's looking up like, whoa. This was, this is not what I thought would happen. Just, gah. Thou art weak, Hraesvelgr, a slithering worm who fawneth on the vermin who should rightly be his prey. For 1,000 years I have fought without cease, and thou didst think to prevail against me? Glory not in thy victory, shade. The battle is not yet won. My power and my hope I have entrusted to another. Uno reverse! Thine eye! What hast thou done? Hey. Fool! Thou wouldst trust a mortal with thy strength! I mean, Dragoons have been doing this for a while. Hope I don't get copyright striked. I know thee, 'twas thou who didst intrude upon my lair and best half of me. But now I am whole, and naught in creation shall deny me my vengeance. He's like, you ain't shit. Yorva's like, does anybody else hear that copyrighted music? Alright, if Hachi's online, we'll grab Hachi. We'll have to wait a little bit anymore. So, this was a really cool moment. So, right now, the song that's playing is called Dragon Song. It is the theme of Heavensward. Hopefully it being background music won't get this... It won't get this copyright striked. We'll just see. This is one of the songs that, because it has the lyrics, I don't know, Larks and I only had trouble with the A Realm Reborn theme, which is called Answers. I think that was in one of our live streams, but I think Larks told me, he's like, oh yeah, we got demonetized. I'm not worried about being demonetized. I make $0, so... but sometimes it causes weirdness with the video being, like, taken down or not very visible because of it, and that's the part of that shit. It's like, okay, I do not care if I'm demonetized. I'm not already making no money. But yeah, we've been cut off by the rest of the fight here, and so while we wait for our turn to get into the battle, you're just forced to, like, stare down Nidhogg right here for a while and just, like, listen to this music. Oh, we're just gonna wait a little bit while Hachi gets online. Yeah, this is, I mean, technically I'm on Excalibur, but I'm Primal. Oh yeah, you had to be where, Milo was. I remember now. Funny enough, we were in the central Coerthus area. Alright. There we go. I was like, it's a little... So, what's also cool, I mean, it's a little bit low poly because they had to make it that way, but, this is where we have been before. And right up there, that's where Hachifont's grave is. It's right there. And behind us. So it's like, Ishgard is behind us, Nidhogg in front of us, Hachifont's grave over here, there's the Dust Vigil where we've been in Realm Reborn. So it's just like really, really good. Alright, so we're gonna, this is called the Final Steps of Faith. Oops, I didn't hit join. It also gave me chills because, you know, Dragon Song plays, and I highly recommend giving Dragon Song a listen. It is, the entire lyrics are about, oh, we might lose Hachi. Okay, hold on. So, to talk further I'm just gonna do a ready check because I can't communicate fast enough over. Okay, so we are ready. Okay, so what is one of my low gears? Oh, it's this. Do I have something else that'll work? I mean, eye level 240 is pretty good, right? So that song's restarting up again. I'm checking on the eye level. Oh yeah, I'm like 40 levels above the recommended. So this is like the Nidhogg fight to end all Nidhogg fights. And but anyways, Dragon Song, it's on Spotify or YouTube or wherever. The song's beautiful. And it is Hydaelyn, spiritually, singing about the Dragon Song War. And it talks about, you know, the events of what we've been through and also in the past. And it is essentially Hydaelyn's song to the children of Ishgard and to the dragons as well, of how she doesn't quite understand why they have killed each other over and over in this turmoil. A Realm Reborn's theme song, Answers, is like, again, another song that Hydaelyn sings to, in that case, like all of Eorzea, who experienced the calamity and all of that. And again, the main themes of each expansion typically, usually, have a woman's voice singing, and she's like, you know, the step-in for Hydaelyn, and it's usually Hydaelyn singing about either the turmoil or the conflict that is happening currently at the time, or it is alluding to the history of the world. Usually these main themes of the games are almost kind of interconnected, kind of linked together, because it's Hydaelyn singing about the saga of everything, and her being like, you know, an all-knowing god. She has watched over since the creation of everything, and therefore her songs that you, again, they're pseudo-canon. They're more of like a, you know, a meta thing to listen to. But I always like that with these special songs that you get in these games, they are sung in the point of view of the Mother Crystal Hydaelyn. So also, like, as you wait around for your party to form for this, you get to listen to some really nice music. I just like that Nidhogg's being very polite. He's just waiting. He's like, Warrior's like, hold on. I'm calling up my bros. I'm calling my bros. And Nidhogg's like, yeah, go ahead. He's still got his, like, feet on Hraesvelgr a little bit there, like, Hraesvelgr's gotta be, like, very uncomfortable. My favorite lyric is about to come up. Yeah, so one of the final lyrics is, tell me why break trust, why turn the past to dust, seeking solace in the abyss. And then she says, this I fear I'll never know. Like, she admits that she does not understand the war between dragons and mortal men, because all she sees is the constant throwing away of life. And to her, one's life is the most important thing to have. I mean, being that she is the Mother Crystal, you know, you're like, of course she would care about the lives of her children and would really, really rather that we just don't casually throw it away in war. But I do think she fully understands that the Ishgardians do view it as like an important thing, but in the grand scheme of things, of the entire world, it seems so small. You know, it's only big to them. And so to Hydaelyn, it's just not important in comparison to the strife of the entire universe. Now, she does not really hold dominion over the dragons. The dragons, of course, live on this world. And so then, Hydaelyn, we don't all live for aeons. Time to pull a Jesus. I mean, technically, if you look at Minfilia's got some, Minfilia's got some Jesus allegories. So she's trying to create her own Jesus with Minfilia. Her meat suit is Minfilia because, Minfilia sacrifices herself to give a voice back to Hydaelyn because Hydaelyn has grown so weak. So she's working on the Jesus thing. She's working on it. It's hard. You gotta, there's a lot of stuff you gotta do to get your own Jesus. You know, you don't just shop for one at Walmart and just get one. But get in a new meat suit. Can you find somebody that's not Minfilia? But, Hydaelyn cares about the lives of the dragons as well. But, Midgardsormr technically holds dominion over the dragons. And Midgardsormr mentions some of this in A Realm Reborn. Hydaelyn let him take his eggs and roost here on the world, because we also have to recall that the entire world, all of the land, everything we put our feet upon is called Hydaelyn too. She is the entire world. You know, again, being not only the Mother Crystal but also Mother Earth. But so Midgardsormr holds dominion over the dragons, but the dragons were granted refuge here by Hydaelyn via a deal she made with Midgardsormr. That's why Midgardsormr kind of has this power over us to sever our connection with Hydaelyn, which, as we learned, he didn't really sever it, he more like, yeah, this is the longest tank queue. I'm like, we have a tank with us, but it's actually, we're in need of healers. That's honestly it. So back to Midgardsormr. Midgardsormr doesn't truly answer to Hydaelyn, but he is at the mercy of her because she kind of gave him, Midgardsormr is the stepdad. We made plenty of jokes back in the day that mom and dad went through a divorce and they're having a custody battle over a Warrior of Light. Midgardsormr is a very powerful being, which I'm like, as this music keeps going on, turning off the music just for now until we get in, because there's going to be plenty of it. Now it's going to be like my voice echoing in the I'm just like, I might be demonetized already, but I'm like, okay, we're chancing it with all the lyrics. So, like, to solidify some Midgardsormr lore, you know, he's very, very powerful, but as powerful as Hydaelyn, I mean, maybe, if only because, as we know through the story, Hydaelyn has been very weakened over time, and at the time when she even finds us in a realm reborn, she's already having difficulties. And when we had our battle with Gaius against the ultimate weapon, she threw out some very powerful shields. And then in the battle against La Habrea, she gave Warrior of Light like a sliver of her power. And we trounced the ever-living shit out of La Habrea. We didn't kill him, but we did make him have to go to sleep for a while. But, Hydaelyn had used up a lot of her power in that, and it kind of made her, like, extremely weak and tired. So, at the end of her Realm Reborn, she kind of sends out an SOS to Minfilia, who hears it. She can't understand what Hydaelyn's saying, because Hydaelyn's too weak, but she can get this feeling that Hydaelyn is in danger. So she goes back to where Y'shtola is casting the flow spell. That's how she gets wrapped up in the live stream, and then she meets with Hydaelyn, and the live stream is definitely Hydaelyn's domain. So if you're inside the live stream, you have a better chance of getting in contact with her. Whereas, I guess you can kind of consider her talking with Warrior of Light to be like a long-distance phone call. She ain't got no more quarters, guys. She can't make the long-distance, phone call. So Minfilia at that point is like offering herself up, being like, take my body, take my soul, or take whatever you can of me so that you can recharge. And through that, and also through Warrior of Light becoming more powerful as we do our thing in Heavensward, as you can recall, we reconnect with all of the crystals, which I jokingly am like, calling all of these fast food restaurants, but we reconnected with the Wendy's and the KFC and the McDonald's and the Dairy Queen, and through our powers combined, we made contact with Hydaelyn a little bit, and she was able to talk to us a tiny bit, just like she did in A Realm Reborn. Here we go. Time to put the music back on. So, oh shit. I couldn't do it fast enough. Well, just imagine that music's still playing. It's even more dramatic when you don't hear it. Time to beat it up. I'm sorry, I just now say squonk. There we go. So yeah, that song just gets been continued. Just imagine that Nidhogg is being defeated to gym music. We're in the gym. Oh, okay. So on the ground, there's gonna be some dragon eyeballs. Spanish radio playing full blast. That is everybody quit. I need you to instead replace all this music with Gasolina. And that is now Nidhogg's theme. Okay, so this first part is Dragon Nidhogg. Alright, now the second part. So we gotta beat some of his minions. Oh boy. I dodged it. Okay, we might have to do this more strategically. Oh god. I hope I survive. We have Squonk Pie as a heart. We are struggling a little bit. Got a little bit of deaths. Maybe I died. Okay. I don't know why our ads were stacked. I mean, Shadow Dragon doesn't give a fuck. Shadow Dragon will go wherever the hell he wants. Okay. Now, it is the Estinian part. Alright, music changes to something more dramatic. He brings out Estinian, who, he sprouted some wings now. He's looking a lot more dragony than himself, but you know, there he is. Also, when he transforms, he says, "Look upon the fool who dared embrace my power." He's just like, take a look at this idiot. He's mine. So during the Estinian part of this, there's going to be more Dragoon moves. He has a lance and he has wings, so that's a dangerous combination. This part, he's going to come down with several lances as copies of himself land everywhere. So we got a combination of Dragoon power plus Dragon at the same time. To be fair, I don't think this part ever really gave us that much problems. It's always the part that comes next. Alright, Dragoon dive. People are doing their jobs. So those Dragoon dives will leave behind goop puddles that you do not want to stand in. At least not for too long. Can I navigate my... I do not like being melee in these things. I still got the bleeding, damn it. That's the reason why you don't want to be in the goop, you just want to avoid the bleed, but I'm not used to that being a problem, because again, I've been ranged. Okay. Last phase. Spiked push. It's gonna be so bad he missed this. Alright, final part. It is now just fiery red hot Nidhogg. He's going to perform Akmorn on us, and boy, back in the day, did that hit hard. The problem with that one is that usually people are used to like a one and done, and then they would stack and then forget to not stay. That hits, I think, 3 to 4 times Akmorn. Oh gosh. The fireballs. Ah, my god. I still got hit by them. Hot Wings, followed by Hot Wheel. But it's called Hot Tail. Hawkmorn. I don't think we'll make it to LB3. Oh, we did it. Okay, somebody else took it. Oh, it's a monk. Punch him. That's right. There he is, Mr. Stinky. He's got stink cloud all over him. I am the Victorian child and he was the hot Cheeto. I like that you can stand like right next to him, like he's just there panting. Oh, he's got the red marks on his face. So this was one part where they could see like underneath the Stinian's helmet a bit. Like whatever face model he has, that's not his real face model. That was like a placeholder. Back when they made a Stinian, he just had a placeholder face. He didn't have a real face, honestly. That's why you'll notice his lips are fuller.
Estinian!
Here's your precious princess. The body horror.
Is this to be mine end? Nay, I will not allow it. I am of the first brood. I am vengeance incarnate. I am Nidhogg!
Again, I think Robert Verdon had way too much fun. He had way too much fun being Nidhogg.
This is not your hand, worm!
Thou wilt obey!
I would ask one last favor of you, Warrior of Light. Finish me! Now, while I have the beast subdued!
Yorva's like, okay, let's stab him. Run him through. We grab the eyeballs instead. And Estinian's like, no, you idiots, that's not what I meant.
Waste your time. Kill me! It is the only way! Ending Nidhogg will be my final duty.
No! You can't die like this! I won't let you!
It's gotta feel like an electric shock or something. Or like fiery electricity. Hi, Yzael. I don't know if you're like a figment of our pain delusion. Like, we're in so much pain, we're just hallucinating right now. What's up, Hachi? He's like, my grave is right over there, so I've been haunting you this entire time. Like... Again, there's no precedent, so it's like, who would have known that that's what happens when you rip eyeballs off of a mortal man possessed by a dragon? Undone by mortal will. Wither her now. Like, we just exorcised the ever-living shit out of him. I have to imagine, like, most of Ishgard, like, witnessed that. They're like, holy shit, was that, like, a giant ghost dragon? Yeah, this is where we took all of the lip filter, or filler, like, it's gone now. Actually, no, it's still kind of there.
The eyes! Cast them into the abyss!
A great idea at the time, but... I mean, the abyss is like an entire trash can. Goodbye, eyeballs. Like, that is a long way down. We don't even hear them thud, like... To icy hell with you.
He lives. Ah, Estinian, my ill-fated friend. Lucia, summon the healers. I want them ready to receive him.
At once, Lord Commander.
Can you imagine using those eyeballs as a dodgeball, though? Like...
Allow me to do this much, at least.
Also, this is extremely gay. Like, this is the... I don't know what's gayer, Aymeric whispering Estinian's name in that one cutscene, or this. He won't let Alfino... He's like, first of all, Alfino, you are 1/2 his size. I don't know what Alfino's thinking. Like, he can lift Estinian? Like, he's too small. The Horde has sensed the fall of thy master and scattered to the winds. Sorry, there's a meme where it's exactly that photo. But it's Hraesvelgr going, y'all gay? Then our alliance has served its purpose. He's like, congratulations on your wedding. Thou didst wield the power I granted thee well. 'Twas thine own skill and not mine eye which earned thee victory. I don't know, maybe, can we contribute like at least 25% of it to that? Because why would we need it anyways? Wait, do you want your eyeball back? Wait! I wish thy companion a swift recovery. Fare you well, children of man. Wait, hold on. Do you want your eyeball back? Yorva's like, okay,
The battle is won. We can do no more for Estinian now than bear him home and wish him well. Even as Hraesvelgr did. The rest we must trust to the hands of the healers and the grace of the gods.
Aymeric has to bridal carry him off the stage. He won't let... He won't let Alfino do it, but I mean, to be fair, I mean, look at Alfino, like... Do you think this guy is carrying somebody twice his height? No. You know, it was just a little part of Hraesvelgr's wing. I'm sure it'll grow back. I think it does grow back. It was very obvious though that he flew off without one eyeball, and Yorva's just sitting there like, wait, hold on, what about your okay. I'll call you later, I guess. Through the haze of pain, I swear I sensed... But no. The past is done, and we must look to the future. At long last, Nidhogg is gone. His foul spirit cast out once and for all. He's like, did you see that? That was... Yorva's like, I think all of Ishgard looked up to the sky and saw the big giant ghost of a dragon disappear into tiny pieces of ghost matter. He's like, okay, so I wasn't the only one who saw that. I only pray that Estinian survives the ordeal. He's like, do you want some money? Yorva's like, yeah, I'll take some money. Can you imagine, like, deep frying Hraesvalgr's wing to get some dragon wings? Cause, like, yeah, that is true. Like, it was like one part of his wing that got torn off. I guess not enough so that he can't fly home. He was like, oh, that was just like, you know, an extra wing. I got plenty more where that came from. But then, like, he'll show back up again, and he'll have his wing back, or that part. So it's like, I don't know. It grows back. Your battle with Nidhogg's Shade will beget many an epic ballad, Yorva, even more so than the ones you've already had. And rightly so. It was, without a doubt, one of your more epical victories. Though, I must admit that I took greater joy in seeing you emerge from the experience unscathed. I mean, I think that's the important bit, is coming back alive. Yeah. And not only for your own sake. Had you not been there to aid me, those infernal eyes would still be fused to Estinian's mail. Yorva's like, that's not true. We also had the power of friendship with dead ghosts of our friends. But Alfino's sitting there like, well, that was a hallucination of us in extreme pain. And Yorva's like, okay, yeah, sure, let's just say that. It was a hallucination of ours because we were in extreme pain. Yet even with Nidhogg gone, I cannot help but wonder how much of our friend remains. Let us pay a visit to Lucia and beg news of his condition. I still remember we were promised fast food and no one delivered. Well, considering that the... Wait, where am I? This is such a weird way to get in. Anyways, Yziel was part of the Dairy Queen. I think we're now the owners of the Dairy Queen, so we gotta make our own fast food. And, I think the Vundu are still trying to repair the Wendy's. Let us speak with Lucia, right in front. Lucia's like, I can hear you. Let us speak with Lucia. She will know how Estinian fares. Lucia's like, you don't have to ask me. I just heard him say that. Yorva, Master Alfino, my honored friends. As if winning Hraesvalgr to our cause were not enough, you took it upon yourselves to rid us of his brood brother. I know not how to thank you. Yorva's like, how else was this gonna end if not me fighting the ever-living shit out of Nidhogg? My own contribution was hardly noteworthy. I don't even know how I got over that fallen bit of tower to get over to Yorva. The true saviors of the day were Yorva and Estinian. I'm sorry. Estinian did even less than you. It was really cool of him to wrest control from Nidhogg like that at the last minute. That was actually pretty nice, but... One triumphant over Nidhogg's Shade through strength of arms, and the other through strength of will. Okay, when you put it like that, it's really cool, okay. And speaking of Estinian, what news of his recovery? The Azure Dragoon was conveyed to the infirmary, where he now resides under the care of our hospitaler. It's just like, can you just say the doctor? But it's like, the hospitaler captain. I'm told he is yet to regain consciousness. She's like, we don't have doctors here. We have the hospitaler captain. But as you know, Estinian's mind and body were held hostage for many days. By Square Enix's terms, it was 3 days. By yours, it was probably a few weeks. We must be patient and allow the process of healing to begin. In the meantime, you would do well to rest and recover from your own ordeals. But surely, Sir Aymeric is never long from Estinian's bedside because it is a very not well kept secret that he has loved him from day one. And he'll send word the moment there are any developments. Now, if I have satisfied your concerns, I believe Lord Edmont and his sons are most eager to celebrate your return. Oh yeah, our adopted father. Very well, First Commander. He's like sad. He's like, I didn't know Aymeric was in love with him. Yorva's like, I knew he was in love with him. Come, Yorva. So it seemed that we were awaited at Forton Manor. Alfina's like, I want to weep at his bedside. She's like, please go to your adopted father. I like to believe that Estinian was possessed by Nidhogg for probably a couple of months. Which, you know, that's gotta fuck you up real bad, you know. Because we had to escape from Ozzy's Law and Nidstinian went to go recover in his lair for a while, and then we had to do all of this other stuff, and then he came back. Well, even Ottawa's in his own little... He's got a tiny version.
The heroes of the hour return.
He's in tiny mail armor.
We but did our duty, my lord. It was the memories of fallen friends and not our heroism which saw us through at the last.
Well, I mean, maybe a little bit of heroism. Your dead son helped.
Of my strength. Mine efforts would have counted for naught had the Warrior of Light not arrived to challenge the Great Worm. As a sworn knight of Ishgard, I had hoped to do more for my city.
I mean, I saw you on the battlefield.
Well, we cannot all be heroes, dear brother. Let us put away our pride for a moment and revel in the valiant deeds of our comrade. For your sterling service to Ishgard, we salute you.
Also, either Artoriel speaks so softly or something was wrong with his mic because everybody's louder than him. All the time.
And while we're on the subject of valiant deeds, I believe I myself have earned some small measure of recognition. Under my watchful command, the ballistas of the Outer Ward struck down a veritable swarm of Dravanian invaders.
You get one
Lord's command was
dilly bar.
certainly watchful. He bravely watched as the siege crews took aim, and continued to watch as countless wyverns met their end. Indeed, the ward's defenders proved so well drilled that my lord had little occasion to stop watching.
So he was still a loser.
There will be time enough to determine who is most deserving of recognition later. Our friends are doubtless weary from their exertions. I had chambers prepared in expectation of your return. You are welcome to retire at your leisure.
I'm most grateful for your hospitality, my lord, but I believe I shall pay a visit to the Temple Knight's Infirmary. Pray excuse me.
He's like, I'd rather cry in the hospital, please.
Our Master Alphinaud has grown. The plight of his stricken brother-in-arms pains him more than his own hurts. In which respect he has come to resemble you, Warrior of Light. Go then, visit the Azure Dragoon, and grant him what comfort you may.
Yorva's like, I'm going to give him the noogie of his life, because he has caused me a lot of strife. Yorva's like, I'm ready to mess up his whole head of hair. I think Zuyaya at that point was like, if he's not so close to death and he's doing fine, I'm strangling him a little bit. And everybody's like, okay, Izuyaya, it's not allowed. She's like, no, just a little bit, just a little bit. Not enough to kill him, just a little bit. Hey, Andalou, where were you? Though our principal foe lies defeated, we shall continue to keep order inside the walls and protect the citizenry. In that much, at least, the duties of the Temple Knights remain unchanged. I'll go more into Handaloo here, but Handaloo, kind of is very important, in more, like, side content or whatever, but this guy has a lot of lore attached to him. He just, doesn't do extremely a whole lot in the main story, but he's there. He's doing stuff. Estinian is resting in our infirmary. If you haven't gotten that information drilled into your head by now. The sickbeds are our front line now, and the battle to save the wounded continues unabated. Alright, now for another homosexual conversation with Eric. Yorva, my friend, what can I do for the savior of Ishgard? You seek Master Alfino? Ah, he came to relieve me of my vigil a short while ago. Hachi left, like, I already know how gay this is. Hachi's like, I don't want to listen to this, I'm gonna vomit. When he begged to sit at Estinian's side, I could not well refuse him. Amaric looked at a 16-year-old boy and he was like, oh gosh, this guy has gone through so much trauma. He's so... No, I like to believe that Hachi's like, no, I've already heard this part, I'm outie. Though he would sooner faint than admit it, the boy must be exhausted by Hraesvalgr's trial and all that followed. Yeah, we didn't break. We did all of that dungeon, the Hraesvalgr trial, and then straight in to battle with Nidhogg. We did not stop. Estinian is blessed to have such devoted comrades. He's like, here's some money, and Yorva's like, oh, people keep paying me, this is great. Awesome, so here we go, Litany of Peace, and then there is the book, Heavensward. It is our story of Heavensward. My own friendship with Estinian began some 10 years past, shortly after we joined the Temple Knights. There is a short story you can read on SquareNex.com, Final Fantasy XIV, Lodestone. Hold on, my cat. Yeah, do you want to learn about Estinian? I learned his name soon enough, but Estinian barely registered my existence. And then he became irresistible to me. I was less a fellow recruit and more a shadow which occasionally darkened his path. And so I might have remained, had fate not fit to intervene. While out on patrol, our company was set upon by a dragon, just one, and we were the only two to survive. The experience forged a bond between us, as such life-threatening situations are wont to do. Yorva's like, yeah, I've read enough fanfiction about, two soldiers going out to war and being the only survivors, and then they have to share a tent. There are several short stories on a website called AO3. Boy, howdy, are there! That short story sparked a lot of nice stories that are very Peggy 16. Despite our friendship, he remained an intense and solitary youth, wholly obsessed with claiming vengeance against Nidhogg. Revenge was ever at the forefront of his mind, so, couldn't have a lot of sexy times. He was like, I don't have time for sex, I have to get revenge against Nidhogg. Revenge for the death of his parents, and revenge for his younger brother, which you can also learn about in that short story I mentioned. I would venture that in Alfino he sees something of his lost sibling. And that is absolutely true, because I think even in some short stories, I think, Hamanal, I think that's his name, Estinian's younger brother, would be a little bit older than Alfino had he lived. But of course, Alfino lived to be much older than his younger brother ever came to be. And in the ungentle chidings of Estinian, Alfino has found the elder brother he had never had. Truth be told, Estinian's tactless observations have saved me from disaster more than once, and I can well understand Alfino's affection for him. He is a friend for whom I would gladly, and then he never finishes that, so... Again, write your fanfiction on what that was. Lord Commander, your presence is required in the infirmary. This is getting way too homosexual. He's like, oh, sorry. Is he... Tell them I am on my way. Okay, that caught me off guard. That was almost as bad as the Stormblood. When we get to Stormblood, there is a joke, and Hachi knows it well. Stormblood, a lot of horrible crap happens, and the fanfare is just a little bit too energetic. Like with Ishgard's, it's still a little bit dour because, you know, it's got that harpsichord going on. Stormblood's very energetic, so they'll be like, the entire city died. Like, that was inappropriate. Quickly, Yorva, we must go to him. Upon proceeding, oh god, several cutscenes will play in sequence. This still sparks fear every time we see the several cutscenes. Here we go, the face reveal.
Estinian!
I mean, he got a whole new face model, so it kind of is a face reveal. We never saw his eyes.
Cease your mewling, boy. It grates my ears.
It's like, shut the fuck up. I was dying here.
Forgive me. When I saw you awaken, I could not... It was such a relief.
He's like,
we feared you might never wake up.
I'm also crying because I haven't slept in 48 hours.
Now, Estinian. If Master Alphino thought any less of you, you would still be Nidhogg's plaything. Or dead.
Aye, 'twas but a jest. I thank you, Alphino. And you too, Warrior of Light. Quite how you managed to persuade Hraesvogr to aid in his brood brother's downfall I cannot imagine. But full glad am I that you did. Yet again, you have achieved the impossible.
The healers had to take part of his lips in the healing of himself.
I, for my part, owe you an apology. When last we met, I did willingly loose an arrow at your heart. Can you forgive me?
There is naught to forgive, Hameric. You but acted in defense of Ishgard as is your duty. Were you any less single-minded about it, I would not follow you into battle, nor trust you at my back. Besides, I had come to the selfsame conclusion, that I would have to perish for Nidhogg to be stopped. So let us dispense with the hand-wringing. I have heard enough mewling for one day.
Oh!
The tendrils of Nidhogg's foul presence bound up every fiber of my being, usurping my senses, but I yet retained some trace of awareness. The worm's mind was as a vast and tumultuous sea. Endlessly its black waters churned, his grief and despair at Ratatoska's murder never calming, never receding. Driven by this surging current came wave upon wave of unrelenting rancor. It was the very image of my own heart. There I saw the dark reflection of the hatred I felt after Nidhogg slew my family, when no path remained save vengeance against dragonkind. Neither one of us had a choice. But I was blessed with something Nidhogg was not. Comrades and teachers to console and admonish me. Had I not had them to gainsay my obsession, it would surely have consumed me as Nidhogg's did him, and we would have been in all respects alike. Though his shade is banished, his spirit scattered upon the sea of clouds, I feel no joy at his passing. Where once I craved vengeance, I now crave rest.
Most relatable. He's just like, I'm tired. I don't want to do anything anymore. Like, of course. That was a lot.
Lord Commander, my hunt is at an end. I would lay down the mantle of Azure Dragoon.
My friend.
He has tired himself with too many words.
He's like, that was a whole ass monologue.
He will make a full recovery, but he must be allowed some few days of quiet.
He's still like listening. He's just like closing his eyes, like, go away now, please. He's still kind of like awake, but he's just like, if I close my eyes and say nothing, maybe they'll just all leave. Of course, Amric has to like not leave.
I too must see my path to its end. Sleep well, my friend.
So now Americ's like,
following the battle with
Estinian got to quit his job.
Emeric called an assembly.
I'm gonna quit my job.
He would make his final proclamation as acting head of state. "'Twas there, with one decree, that the 1,000-year rule of the archbishops was ended, paving the way for a new republic.
No more kings.
The governance of Ishgard would now be placed in the hands of high and lowborn alike, their ranks represented by the newly founded House of Lords and House of Commons.
Abric right there is like, how about democracy?
Church was separated from state. The foundation for change had been carefully laid.
I wish...
And the reforms proposed by Ishgard's new government passed into law without incident.
I wish separating church from state was like that easy.
Emeric de Burrell gladly stepped down from the archbishop's dais, only to be raised unto the highest seat in the House of Lords.
Yeah, he's like, I'm going to quit, and then they all vote him in as president. He's like, no!
Though he strove at first to refuse this honor, the unexpectedly strident voice of the Count de Durandare left him little choice but to accept.
I don't know if that's the first time we ever see Count de Durandare right there. But that's
so
kind of a face reveal.
Came to stir.
Yeah, Aymeric is full on like, no, I want to quit my job, but then too many people were like, no, we love you too much. Please be our leader. And he's like, oh my god, okay, fine.
Prominent among the many honored guests at Sir Emeric's investiture were the ambassadors of Dragonkind, a fitting symbol of Ishgard's newfound peace.
Hey, it's that girl who almost got thrown off the fucking church.
The people looked on in awe as he soared through the heavens on Dragonback. And by their cheers did they hail him an Azure Dragoon for a new age.
They called him Azure Dragoon in this one instance, and then nobody ever talked about it ever again. And Estinian brought flowers. But not for him. But I was like... There was a moment where I'm like, did Estinian bring flowers for Aymeric? He sent him one of those, like, edible arrangements. Here's Warrior of Light. Low riding on a dragon.
The dragon song rewritten. The din of war, giving way to a rising litany of peace and hope.
I like that the Warrior of Light's just randomly like, oh, we gave him his eye back. Maybe that's why we're there. Yorva's like, hey, you left without your eye. That's why we're here. But I'm like, I like to imagine we're just going for a joyride on Midgardsormr, like. But Yorva's like, dude, you left too early. I had to come all the way out here and take your eyeball back. So, while everything was taking place in present day, this is kind of like, Edmont has been writing this entire time. This is his... Because as we were going through the story, everything was bookended from the memoirs of Count Edmont in this book called Heavensward. But... So it's kind of like, we're now in present day as he is done recounting the events of everything that has transpired. So he's like, oh my god, my hand is so tired. I wrote so many things, including the whale bit. That was a thing. That means he was also privy to the extremely gay things Aymeric said. So Estinian has left his dragoon helmet behind. I mean, he meant it when he said, he's like, I'm not gonna do the Azure Dragoon thing anymore. I mean, technically, he is out of a job. Like, there's no reason to have an Azure Dragoon. Even though they were like, hey, Aymeric, you'll be the new Azure Dragoon. And Aymeric probably was like, no. He didn't make that stick. I don't know, there was something about that scene where they were like, they call him the Azure Dragoon. It never gets brought up ever again. Not once. But technically, Aymeric is an Azure Dragoon in just title alone. But again, like, that is never brought up ever again, so I can only imagine they're like, oh, let's call him Azure Dragoon, and Aymric's like, no, let's not do that. On second thought, let's not make that stick. Just call me Aymeric. I was gazing out at the sea of clouds in an all too rare moment of idleness. That's a lie. You were escaping work because I know you're busy as hell. When I chanced to behold a certain hero wending her way towards the city on Dragonback. Welcome home, Yorva. Nay, 'twas no grave matter that moved me to greet you in person. Between you and me, I merely sought a respite from my pressures of office. Yeah, he's like, I escaped out the window. I took that advice from Estinian. No sooner do I surrender my role as temporary head of state than I am burdened with a position of more permanent responsibility. I fancy that it echoes in some small measure to the way you must feel when your improbable feats of heroism are rewarded with still more impossible challenges. He's got it right. The myth which guided our society for generations lie in tatters. Am I then to be scorned for building upon the system of nobility that I once sought to tear down? And what strange jest is it that places me at its pinnacle, an archbishop's bastard at the head of the House of Lords? Yorva's like, this was kind of always a foregone conclusion. Nobody runs this bitch better than Aymeric. But these questions are for me to answer. He's just like, that's not your job. It is not in man's nature to change overnight. This I learned through painful experience, both physically and mentally. And it was this hard lesson which convinced me to take the path which we now follow. Even as we rebuild the bridge between man and dragon, so must we reimagine Ishgard, one carefully placed stone at a time. We must remember that it is not for us that we lay this groundwork, but for the men and women that our children will become. May their towers rise proudly from the fundament of our legacy. So used to like fundamental being the word, but it's like, I guess fundament is definitely a word. I hear a word from Captain Whitecape. Hold on. Yorva's like, hold on, just stop. His name was Captain Whitecape? You didn't... Don't surprise me with that information, Aymeric. He's like, yes, I heard word from Captain Whitecape that Estinian has vanished from his sick room. His willfulness survives undiminished. Aymric's like, I see that no amount of change can ever stop him from backflipping out of a window. Should you ever hearken upon our unmannerly friend in your travels, pray assure him that I shall keep Ishgard safe until he deigns to come home. And and please tell him to call me. Yorva's like, okay. Yorva at this point is like, I'm suspecting there's something going on, but I don't want to pry. Thank you, Yorva, and please convey my warmest regards to Master Alfino. He's like, I'm adopting him too as my little brother. You know, it's just what I'm going to do. He's family now. Alfino has that effect. He walks in and everybody's like, is anybody gonna adopt this child? And Alfino is sitting there like, both of my parents are alive. And they're like, is anybody gonna adopt this child? And he's like, okay. Fun fact, Alfino and Alize don't speak a lot about their parents. That, for a long time, I kind of thought they were orphans. I thought their grandfather was probably one of their last living relatives. And then I come to find out in Endwalker, I thought maybe one of their parents might still be, both of their parents are well and alive. And the reason why I thought they were orphaned is because, do you see what Alfino just went through in this entire expansion? At the age of 16, even if you've already graduated college or whatever, heck, even at the age of 21, if you're in college or whatever, whose parents allow a 16-year-old to do what he has done? I'll get into that later. That's another discussion for something far off from now. He spoke with Sir Aymeric. He's like, were you talking about my parents? I do not envy him his new position. Aymeric wanted so hard to just retire, and then he got the opposite of that. Ishgard has chosen a new road, but one littered with the detritus of 1,000 years of broken faith. Yorva's like, yeah, I think Aymeric got a big pile of shit. Yet, though her people may stumble from time to time, I know none better than Sir Aymeric to lead the march of progress. See, that is true. It's just kind of like, even though it's shit for him, honestly, nobody can do better than him, and he's the right man for the job. And honestly, I think he gladly takes this position because he loves Ishgard with all of his heart. As for us, there remains the small matter of ushering in a new dawn in the shadow of I'm sorry, you're he's like, as for us, we still have the small matter of saving the entire world and possibly the universe, and also none of this matters if the Ascians win. And Yorva's like, Alfino, please, it's only now 6 a.m. Did you see the lights turn on in the window? She's like, morning just came. Anyways, there's just a small matter of ushering in a new dawn in the shadow of inscrutable Ascian machinations and a seemingly endless procession of primals. But we too must walk our chosen path, no matter how treacherous the footing. God, Alfino. He's like, by the way, do you want this wind-up Aymeric? This doll of Aymeric? I have some music, and here's a coat. In the wake of Ishgard's governmental reform, new airship routes have been sanctioned. This is the real reason? No, I need you all to pay attention. This is the real reason we freed Ishgard from this war. You were not allowed to use the airship to Ishgard up until this point. And now, it'll be easier to get here. No, I'm kidding. We just teleport. You may now travel to a selection of distant locales from the landing in Ishgard. Though really, having that route out open actually does help. If you're coming back here quite a lot. Meanwhile, he said something. He said, yeah, what are you wearing? Jake from State Farm. That smile was because he got told it was something sexy. There he is, Mr. Shake His Ass in the Forest. Thank you, Blenhouse. Nay, you may not remain there. We shall rendezvous at the usual place. He's like, you may not remain there. I hear it sucks and it's cold. All is proceeding as expected then. Aye, there is not to concern us, aside from one overly curious mouse. Oh. And this is why Thancred was sneaking around. This way. Him again. He keeps following me. Like a bad grinder date. It is of no moment. Like, instead of saying one moment, it's just like, it's not even a moment. They will play their part, and we will play ours. So, Thancred's been following him since that one last little bit of cutscene we got from the thing. Oh. And thus did grey mists give way to azure skies. Man and dragon rise above, voices joined in song. But beneath shrouded bows, beneath the scope of light, shadow stirs. Yeah, a callback to that joke of, when we were trying to find Thancred, we heard of a hero that's shaking his ass in the forest, and it was definitely our bird, or I should say, Warrior of Darkness there. Oops, I've already name-dropped who I shouldn't have. But yeah, it was definitely a Warrior of Darkness, and not Thancred. Thancred was not the hero that was shaking his ass in the forest. It was 100% not him. But yeah, in the last patch, the last we saw of Thancred, he was stalking Mr. Suspicious Guy there. And now we know where he went. Also, that was notably not Alfino in the shroud right there. So that reminds me that I need to probably get on and do the Binding Coil Bahamut before the next patch that we do. So yeah, so there we go. That was the conclusion to pretty much the Heavensward plotline. Let's see, Artuarel is out here. He says, my father has relinquished the title of Count and named me as his official successor. I expected to feel different, but the truth is little has changed aside from the manner in which people address me. I am the same man as I was yesterday, though I know not what the morrow may bring. So yeah, from this day forward, Artuarel is the lead, is pretty much head of House Fortom. So he is Lord Fortom from this moment forward. I mean, we already knew this, that his power, Lord Edmont was transferring power to Artuarel, but Artuarel was already acting as the head of House, knowing that moment was really coming. So, like he said, nobody's really shocked, or nothing even really feels all that much more different. I wonder if we can already go to Azizla and see the thing. So, Estania was carrying some flowers. They were not for Abric, even though it would be extremely funny if they were. I might be doing this too early, but I forgot exactly where they were. I think, isn't there part of a quest line or something like that where we find his flowers? But I don't know if it's like it's like an Easter egg, like we saw with Tataru, that if you go back to a spot, you can find those flowers. Anyways, Estinian was taking those flowers to the last spot we saw Yzael. They are flowers for Yzael, and unfortunately she doesn't get a headstone. Hautrefont has a spiritual one out in Coerthus Central, but Yazael did not have a body to bury, and unfortunately she is a heretic in Ishgard, and not many people regard her as any sort of hero. But I really can't even remember. I think I might be here too early. But Estinian lays those flowers as kind of a makeshift grave site for Yazael out here in Ozzy's Law. And you can come and visit it from time to time. But I, of course, am probably here too early. Man, you can really fly up here, can't you? I remember it being kind of like at the airship landing or something like that. Actually, isn't it like right up here at the very top? I'm not sure. But, yeah. I think around this time, some things... So, everything involving Ishgard now, we're going to start seeing some changes, not just in the story, but also in NPC behaviors, and... Okay, so... Have they put the thing up here? No. Eventually there is a memorial to Horchefont here. Right now, his office is vacant, and most of the time when you talk to the NPCs, I think some of them are slowly getting over it, but if you spent some time back here ever, the NPCs are, of course, extremely distraught and in mourning and in a lot of grief over Horchefont's death. There's just a few things to see around Ishgard that have changed now that the Dragonsong War is over, and they will continue to evolve as other events happen, but it's really fun. You can actually like come back to certain areas around the map, and here's Francel, he's visiting. So Francel will come and visit Horchefont's grave pretty much like every time you come to visit. You'll always see him here at least once. You can trigger the event like maybe once or twice, but you'll have to zone in and zone back out in order to get him back. But, yeah, so inside of Ishgard, stuff will start to heal. There'll be less, injured knights, and, there'll be repairs on these walls. And, as you can see, there's already starting to be some scaffolding and stuff like that there, so... as you can see, there's these injured fellows right here. But, as you come back to Ishgard over time, these things will start to be repaired. Less injured people will be seen around the streets. It's really fun. It actually gives you, like a feeling that the city did heal, and, it is going to be ushered into a new age. Right now, we're still in a period of, we're still going to see injuries and, you know, destroyed bits and stuff like that, but the city will get a new look. At least a little bit. Not so much, but yeah. Thank you for seeing the conclusion of Heavensward. The Dragonsong War is over. Now it's just everything that comes after. So the patches that will happen after this, these are going to be the lead up into Stormblood, and we are pretty much only a few episodes away from Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood, which will be the third game in the series. So please tune in, because it's going to be a good time. And I will see you on Thursday. Have a good night.